Hello. Let me just check and make sure I'm live. Ooh. All right. All right. Okay. I don't see me yet. It looks like I'm live here. Oh, there I am. Okay. Awesome. All right. Hello, hello. I am so excited to be here today, kicking off day 2 of the Boldly Free Live Virtual Summit. I am sending gratitude to Catherine for holding such a beautiful space, for all the other presenters that have presented yesterday. I saw some really awesome presentations, those that are going to come later. Tomorrow, people that are watching, supporting, and participating. So I have been in the same circles with Catherine for the past few years, and also many other lovely goddesses in this group. But this is the first time that I am going live in this group. Hi, Catherine. Thanks for jumping on. So I'm excited to share. This is my first time sharing. So my name is NancyAnger. I know it looks like anger. I'm going to have a quiz after on pronouncing my last name. LOL. So for those that don't know me, I don't know. I'm always trying to figure out what label, what title. So I was looking over some old notes and I'm like, well, modern day medicine woman, and mentor to aspiring change makers. So my intention is to guide women primarily back to themselves and into their own voice and power by giving them physical and spiritual tools to successfully fulfill their spiritual journey. So one thing that is really cool, like when we first are starting our journey, whatever it is, we don't know how, we never know how things are going to turn out. But this month, February 2002, is when I actually started my first spiritual business. And it was teaching yoga in the basement of a church and in a gymnastics studio. And I had a deep desire. After my third daughter was born, I woke up literally like not long after and had severe neck and back pain, and it sent me on a journey. And part of what I learned at that journey in a real nutshell was put your oxygen mask on. You have to take care of yourself, and if we're not tuning in or taking care of ourselves, we're not going to be any good for anything else, never mind our mission or our purpose in the world. So some of the things that I am going to be talking about sound codes in a few minutes, but one of the things, so I do, in addition to intuitive guidance, sound and energy healing, some of the things I also am known for is archetypes and sound codes, embodiment, transformation, heaven on earth, and helping people awaken to their spiritual gifts. And I didn't know that was all going to happen on this journey, but what I find the common thread that it always comes back to is being present in our lives so we can really fully embrace, honor, and experience whatever it is and be the conscious creators that we are here to be. So when we are out of sync with ourselves, or we're kind of overdoing, which is like the masculine that's been out of balance for a long time, it ends up making you exhausted. It depletes your energy. We get out of rhythm with our own sync and our own needs. And for me, that neck pain, while I didn't like it, it was a blessing in disguise. So I've been working with sound for a long time, only I didn't really consciously think about it until many years later. But when I was teaching yoga, I always included chant at the beginning and the end of a class. And it seemed like a simple Om, although the classes were in the basement of a Catholic church when I first started. So I did feel a little uncomfortable sometimes chanting Om, but it was so interesting to me as, of course, a lot of the people I was teaching had never chanted Om before, but it felt really important and powerful. I would notice at the beginning of the class, people would chant Om, And then at the end, we would chant together, and the sound had changed. You could hear how we were more unified. We were in harmony. We were in resonance. And I know, Catherine, yesterday in your kickoff call, you were talking about, I think, unity or unifying. And so sound is a powerful way to help us come into resonance with each other, into resonance with ourselves. So those yoga classes grew into a yoga and wellness center. I had no idea that was going to happen. It was literally by just doing tuning in every day and what's the next step? And I sold that 5 years ago. And now I am excited to be here and doing the work that I'm doing. But at the end of the day, it's still helping people to really connect in with themselves, with ourselves, right? So the sound today is sound codes to help you with awakening with more ease and grace. So I just want to invite you, before we dive in, to just take a moment and check in with yourself, since that's what we're talking about, right? You can just take a moment, take a breath in. If you can even close your eyes. I like to close my eyes when I check in because it just kind of takes one thing off the plate, right? The external. So I like to just close my eyes. And just imagine dropping down into your body, down into your heart, and just take a breath or two. And notice as you're breathing in and out, where is your breath? Are you feeling it up here? Sometimes when we get stressed or whatever, our breath is up here. If your breath is not down in your belly, right, that's when we're grounded. You can bring your hands down to your belly and just let your breath come out into your belly. As you inhale, let your belly expand into your hands. And then as you exhale, feel the belly tone in a little bit. And just do a few breaths like that, letting yourself come more present. So breath is the life force. It has the ability to connect us into our present moment, and it's through our breath, through the exhalation, that we make sound. So many of our other senses, touching, smelling, tasting, etc., can remind us of the past or the future and really exclude us from presence oftentimes. But when we make sound, we can only make it in the present. We can't make a sound yesterday, we can't make it tomorrow. But when we're able to come in the present moment, we can calm the nervous system, which lets us feel that all is well and allows you to focus and receive more deeply and tune into the messages that we're receiving, right? A lot of times we are living in fight or flight. We don't realize it. We are very out of the body. So just coming into the body, and it's like, oh, right now, in this moment, everything is good. So before I talk a little more about sound codes, I'm actually going to sing a sound code. And before, to even help you receive, I'm going to call in a divine light code, receive. So divine love and light, calling in receive. And the sound code is called Divine Temple of Remembrance. Eloi, 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 O Ma. Eloi, 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 O Ma. Eloi, 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 O Ma. I'm actually feeling to sing that again. Eloi, 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 O Ma. I'm actually feeling to sing that again. Eloi, 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 O Ma. Eloi, 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 O Ma. I was just seeing some comments. Oh, well, I lost them. There they are. Okay. Hello. Thanks for the comments. Good morning, Catherine, Courtney, Crystal. Hi, Catherine. Thank you so much for tuning in. So, as I said, sound comes through the breath, and checking in with our breath is a good indicator of the moment, right? So I was thinking as I was just singing, if you asked me 10 years ago, if you said that I would be singing, especially publicly, I would have laughed because I said, I don't have a good voice for singing. And even though I use sound, I mentioned earlier about chant and before and after teaching yoga classes, when my kids were little, I also used humming to soothe myself when they were stressed or tense, or when I was feeling stressed or tense. It calmed us both down. So in 2013, this was like the prelude. Before when I had the back and neck pain after the birth of my third child was the thing that led me down the path of becoming a yoga teacher. And so a lot of that was the back and neck, and that was the thing that kept me feeling like it kept me honest. If I started like not paying enough attention, it would start to come back again. But it never really resolved as much as I wanted. I had to stay really diligent. And then in 2013, I had a group I was part of had an offering. A woman was coming from California to Massachusetts to offer atlas balancing with sound codes. So the atlas is the first vertebrae in the neck. And if you think about it, if the atlas is turned or twisted a little bit, it's going to affect your whole spine. I mean, there's not a very big area right in the neck. Our whole nervous system goes through here. It can affect a lot of things. And what I learned was that for more than 90% of people, if you're born before January 2020, which is 2 years ago, right? If you're older than 2, chances are your atlas is out of alignment. It's out of balance. Unless you've had it balanced, or unless you are one of the rare people that has not. And one of the interesting things is when the atlas is out of balance, is it will tend to be the right side is more open, right? And that's the masculine side. The masculine side is more open, and the feminine, the left side, is what is more shut down. So when I had my atlas balanced, she used like a very light touch, and she used sound codes. And I had never heard of sound codes. I didn't know what they were, but after she sang them, they were so beautiful. And I could hold my posture more easily. My neck moved a lot better. I had been doing back bends for a long time, but it didn't feel quite right. I had to hold on to my head. I didn't know what was wrong. But after my atlas was balanced, I realized, oh, my atlas, the body protects itself. If something is not right, a lot of times we'll create tension to try to say, no, don't do that. Let me try to support you. But once my atlas was at place, which happened within the first session, usually it happens within the first or second session, it was literally made a huge shift. And I had been at this point, my daughter was 18 in 2013, and my youngest daughter, so it had been a long time since I had been working on this. And a few months later, I went to the doctor's for a checkup, and I measured 1/2 inch taller, and she said, you don't get taller at your age, so your neck must have just straightened out or something. And I was like, yeah. So I did another sound code that fall several months later for the tailbone, and literally when she sang the sound codes, I felt my tailbone before and after, and I felt it move. So sound is vibration, and it has the ability to transform us in ways beyond what we can even possibly probably really understand, which is kind of cool because it can penetrate beyond the thinking mind into the subconscious. And I used to go to the chiropractor for my oh cool, Courtney, yeah, thanks. I used to go to the chiropractor for to try to adjust my neck, but the muscles were so tight. He's like, you really need to go get a massage. But of course, by the time I get to the massage, my muscles are, my neck is already going back out of alignment. So the sound codes were kind of like a symphony, right? They work on the physical, the mental, the emotional, everything at the same time. And so once the atlas went into balance, everything else starts to come into harmony by itself. Thank you, Crystal. Yeah, so sound codes, they're I guess in some ways they're kind of like a light language, but it's different. So sound codes are like a language or an ancient language that your body understands and responds to and knows how to bring itself back into balance, into harmony. And so 2013, I had my atlas balanced, and then in the fall, my body balanced. And then in April, the teacher who was from Germany, the original teacher, and she studied with a gentleman from Switzerland, Rene Chamberlain, who is now passed on, who created a machine many years ago, years ago, for the atlas balance, calling Atlas Prophylax. But she did this for 7 years and created the sound code modality. So she came to the US in 2014, and I took the class. And as I said, I would have never thought I was a person that had a good voice for singing, even though I enjoyed it. Hi, Deb. And now I do. And part of it is really just, sometimes we judge ourselves, right? And I just had to kind of, yes, I had some of my siblings, I would sing when I was younger. They're like, you are kind of out of tune. So I was like, okay, well, maybe when I go out dancing at the clubs, I can sing because nobody can really hear me. But anyways, we all have the potential for sound, for using our voice, for singing sound codes, and singing sound codes actually develops your voice. So I'm going to sing a few more sound codes. So one of the things, a little bit more sound codes, well, sound in general, right? It creates form and dissolves form. And sound codes are a little different. Like if you listen to a songs that have words, they can evoke certain emotions, right? Good, bad, whatever they are. It's not that they're bad, but they evoke certain emotions. But when you actually, sound codes don't have that. It's kind of like Sanskrit language or the ancient languages, right? Or light language in a way, right? They evoke, we can't understand it with our mental mind, our mental mind. I think you know what I mean. So they have the ability to penetrate more deeply, and many sound codes will have an intention, like the ones for atlas balancing, and some of them will have a specific intention, and some of them will have a more open intention. So since that time, I have actually channeled, maybe remembered sound codes, probably from a past life. And one thing you might not know is the human voice has the ability to reproduce any sound. Might not be that good at it, but with instruments, right? Certain instruments, the ones that you tune, they can actually go out of tune and bring us out of harmony. But sound can bring us into harmony. And like I said, you don't have to be a singer. And sound codes can actually be sung internally to yourself. So I'm going to sing some new sound codes actually that came through me a few weeks. Actually, I'm going to sing a few sound codes. One of them is Song of Love. This is one that came through a while ago, but I've used this code for healing many things, right? Things that come up. I have had like a few difficult situations that were like in the past would have been really triggering, and like, it's like you just want to like argue back or fight back or whatever it is. And it's like, but it's like, right? It's like seeing the image of the infinity symbol, right? What you put out comes back, what you put out comes back. So I'm like, oh, let me put out love and send love to this situation. So you can close your eyes again if you want. And if you feel like you want to sing along, feel free. So, Yum, 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 yum. Violet flame of transformation. So I'm going to sing that code. So if something comes to mind that is ready to be released and transformed, it does. Otherwise, you can set the intention that anything that's ready to be released can be released with ease and grace. Sima na na ne, sima na na ne. Si ma na na ne. Om diddy om diddy om diddy om. Om diddy om diddy om diddy om. Om diddy om diddy om diddy om. And then vertical alignment, as above, so below. Hi-yo, 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 hi-yo. Just allowing the sounds, the vibrations, yourself to experience them. And every time you'll experience them differently. I've had people that have had no energy training type of thing, and then they come back, they go take a Reiki training or something, and they come back and get more sound codes, and they're like, wow. But we are different every day. And the beautiful thing is about sound codes is they meet you where you are at. And when we come into this, like the space of higher resonance, of connection to ourself, but yet the space of sovereign space of love and resonance in our own heart, we are making decisions from a new place, right? From coming back into our center and then choosing and deciding or noticing what life is showing to us and what it is giving to us. So I'm going to sing one more. Let's see. Singing is cursive talking. Cool. Never heard that before. Couldn't agree more. All right, so these are a few. I've just been kind of diving into human design more lately for a while, and that's a rabbit hole. So, and for those of you, I'm a projector. So projectors, we're here too. We don't have the same energy as some people, but we're here to kind of help other people manage theirs. So I became an expert in it without knowing why. So I have a few more codes here. So and take a nice breath in, and just again settle down. If your eyes are open, if you want to close them again. Lo Martina scananane, lo Martina scananane, lo Martina scananane, Jean, Jean, Jean. Lo Martina scananane, lo Martina scananane, lo Martina scananane, Jean. Jean, Jean. La la li, la la li, la la li, Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om. La la li, la la li, la la li. Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om. La la li, la la li, la la li. Hari Om, Hari Om, Hari Om. Sham. Lisa. So, as I said, sound is vibration, and we are vibration. We are 70% water, and I will say, after listening to sound codes, it's good to drink a lot of water, allow it to move through you. And they're very powerful but subtle. They really can help us bring us back to ourselves, right? It's about a time for coming back into balance. It's been over time of coming back into balance of the masculine and the feminine, connecting back into our innate wisdom, and honoring our cycles of rest and creation. I've had the most amazing creations when I've taken time to rest. And as I said before, being a projector, it's like you have to learn how to manage your energy because it runs out when you least expect sometimes. So I had to learn to set really good boundaries. So thank you so much for joining me today and for listening. And if you have any questions, feel free. I will check back on the post later. The event that I have currently is actually an in-person event, and I know probably many people are across the country or other parts of the world. So this is in Massachusetts. It's called Honoring the Goddess Within, Reawakening the Wisdom of Your Divine Feminine. So I'm going to put the link below for people that might be in the area of like New England area. That's on March 20th. But also I do sound code consultations. I do Atlas balancing remotely. I have a Facebook group. It's called The Nourished Soul with NancyAnger, which I think I put the link when I went live. And my website is NancyAnger.com. So thanks so much for coming on live. You're welcome, Crystal. And up next is Christine Sally. I don't know if I said her last name right. Sally. And it's analyzing our reality. So I am excited to see what she has in store for us. Again, thank you, Catherine. Thanks everybody who hopped on live or who is watching the replay. I greatly appreciate it. Namaste and have an amazing rest of your day. Thank you.